Welcome to Real and Raw. Your story is your medicine, the podcast with Letizia.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Real and Raw podcast with your host, Letizia. And today I'm so happy and excited. I have a dear sister of mine with me. Her name is Špela, and she's a dear sister that we met like almost 2 years ago. Yeah, maybe 1.5 years ago, back in Bali. And yeah, she's gonna be here sharing her incredible story, and I'm so excited to get into it. But before we go more into your story and everything, I just want to give it to you so you can introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do? Where are you? And yeah, just anything you want to share.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the nice intro. And yeah, where am I? I am in Bali for the last 2 years and 4 months. I've been cocooned in this bubble through the whole craziness of the world, but I had like eternal craziness, which was actually quite, how could I put it? It brought me more to myself, and it was actually a gift in disguise, like camouflaged in a very, you could say, a traumatic experience, but beautifully held. I think we're gonna talk more about that. Yeah, otherwise, my native country is Slovenia, and but Bali, especially the city Ubud, feels like home. I think, yeah, you can connect with that. And yeah, when I met you, it was an instant connection, like soul sister. I was like, yeah, like I want to like hang out with you more, but then life happened, but we are still connected, like in spirit. And yeah, super grateful for you and that I'm here today sharing my story.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it's such an honor to have you here. And I was just brought back. I kind of like feel like I want to share that. Yeah, and it's so interesting because I thought, especially the time we were in Bali, through all the craziness, because no new people were coming in. So it's like you kind of knew everyone on the island, more or less. But then it was so interesting because I met you like, that was I think in September, I think, right? It was before I moved away from Ubud, before I moved to Ahmed, right? And so I was like, oh wow, like how come we haven't met before? Right? And so I remember it was there in that, what was the name of the restaurant? Oh
Healthy Ubud.
Healthy Ubud. Oh my God, you see, like, oh my God, I forget.
I remember.
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah. So yeah, that was really beautiful. It's true, I had the same, like this instant connection. And and I remember then when I had like my goodbye party when I left Ubud, Joanna, she said like, oh, can a friend of mine come with me, my roommate? And I was like, who is it? And she said, Špela. I was like, of course she can. So that was amazing. And yeah, so that's kind of how we met back in Bali, back in those days. And yeah, and actually then from there, I remember like that was in October. I still remember actually that day, like, and I want to give it to you then, so you can share your story, like what happened. And but yeah, I still remember that very clearly. Especially I remember even where I still was. I was at Zest, and I think it was then when I really was craving waffles. So I went to Bella and their waffle iron was broken as always. And so I was like, where can I get waffles? And so I thought, oh man, like, and Zest didn't have them anymore. So I went there and I had like this smoothie bowl. Anyways, but then I remember receiving your message, or like seeing your message on Facebook. And yeah, I'm just going to give it to you because I could go on and talk about my memories. But yeah, I just want to give it to you, and that you can share a little bit context and anything that you want to share about what happened, and yeah, what you've been going through in this last almost 2 years.
Yeah, in the last 16 months. So yeah, so I think it happened on the October 18th, 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm trying. Okay, feels like okay, I'm gonna tell it again. But yeah, voice has power as well. So the more you talk about it, the easier it is. So I was driving, like I was 1 week in bed before that day. I had some sort of, I don't know what it was, but I couldn't leave my bed for a week. And then finally I gathered the strength and I was like, it was a beautiful morning, sunny Sunday, 7 a.m. And I said, I'm gonna go to the market to buy my fruits with my scooter. And, so I go down, I say to my flatmates, yes, finally, like finally I can go out. And I sat on my bike, super grateful, drive on the road, like the freshness in the air was there. I felt so grateful and happy that where I am and everything. So I got to the market and got my fruits. And then I decided to drive back, but something was telling me like, go to the ridge walk, like go for a walk there. And then my Virgo mind was like, no, just go back home, put the fruits away, and then go back. And then I took that call. I went home, and while I was driving back on that road, like I don't know, 5 minutes before I could reach my home, two guys on a motorbike, they approached me, and I felt like this danger in your field. You know what's happening, but you cannot really react. Like I was in fight or flight mode. So they came super close, and I had my phone in my backpack side pocket, so it was quite visible. And I've heard stories, and I knew, oh shit, it's happening to me. But I froze. I couldn't do anything. I just like tried to avoid them and went on the left side of the road more with my scooter. And while we were driving, it was just like this energy when you just couldn't, like, I didn't even see where I'm going. Like I just tried to avoid them. And then one of the guys grabbed the phone and left, and all of a sudden in front of me was a tree. So I crashed into a tree, and while I was crashing there and falling, I was like, no, universe, no, why this now? Like I just got out after a week of being inside. Like I cannot like take this. I'm so tired already, like what else do I need to learn? That was my thoughts while I was falling down from the scooter. And then I fell down, and I didn't have a phone to call anyone, and I couldn't move. Like this was the first time that happened to me, that after I fall, I couldn't move my body. Usually, okay, you fall, but you can still somehow get up and, put yourself together. But I couldn't. So I was like, oh shit, this could be serious. Like, why can't I get up? And then because it was very painful as well, I screamed so much, like first from the pain and then just the release and like everything that was happening. And I guess with that, then I also was like, okay, I need someone to help me. So I was screaming for help, and a few local people came from around. And then luckily my brain was still quite working, and I could say, like when someone approached me with the phone, I entered the name of the villa where I was staying at, and I said, go get Tim. And Tim was the owner. So I was like, okay, this is happening. They're going to get him. He's going to come, and we have contacts in common. We can call and brainstorm, what's going to happen next. Yeah. And so the story is like super long, and I don't know actually how to put it in a few words, because I actually wrote a book afterwards about it.
Wow. Is it finished already?
It's kind of finished, but I feel like now that I went through the second part, I still have
Right.
something to add.
Right.
So
Yeah, I mean, you just feel like whatever feels like good, like what you want to share, right? And actually, what I wanted to ask is then how in that moment, right? You said like that you gave them the name of the villa and everything, and then th did they come and how like did they bring you back home or
okay,
then?
yeah, that's a big story. So also I knew I don't have a health insurance or like a travel insurance at that time. So first they were like, we're gonna call an ambulance, and I was like, oh fuck, I don't have the insurance, this will cost a fortune. But then I was like, it's my body, of course, like if this is what have to happen, call them. And then they were calling 2 hospitals, and they said the first hospital doesn't have an ambulance and the second one was not even opened yet. So I was like, okay, like, and then I was thinking, what if something like life and death situation would happen in that moment, like there would be no ambulance.
Wow.
Anyway, and then they didn't, so Tim came in the meantime, and he was like, now you have to take the decision, like I cannot take it for you. And I knew like I'm the one who's calling it. So I asked for the scooter lady that's also very like a healer and a local that I trusted. I was like, I want her to come here also to take care of the scooter, but also to tell me what to do, kind of. So she came, beautiful Balinese woman, and she said, like, she touched my spine, and I was like, what's happening? And she kind of didn't want to say something. She like of course she couldn't like tell, but she knew it's bad. And then she was just like, I don't know, honey, you need to decide on your own. And then another friend came with her, Sarah, my Slovenian friend, and Joanne brought the painkillers from the pharmacy. So they gave me the painkillers, and for me it's like, I didn't take a pill for 8 years, since I went vegan. I didn't take anything, not like, even like a pill for the head or nothing. Like I always had that belief that, I'm gonna push it through. But that time I had to take it. So that was the first sign of me dropping my old beliefs and surrendering into the process. So I took the pill, and then people were stopping by the road, and because we were there for an hour or more, like I was just laying down. And then at the end, I remember there was a pickup truck, and I said, okay, bring me back to the villa. So they lifted me. I remember Sarah jumped on the truck with me and like very slowly and gently like carried me there, and then down. So it was like 6 people supporting me and then carrying me to the villa because they didn't have the car access. So they carried me. I was like just laying down and like watching at them, feeling their, like smelling them. The sun was hot, they were dripping sweat. Like and then they carried me to the villa and put me on the bed. And then there was my friend Xavier, I think you also know him.
Mm-hmm.
So he was my teacher at the time, my Kundalini Reiki teacher, and I trusted him a lot. So, and he's also some sort of body worker. So he was like, okay, let me check what's happening. And he, like, I lay down and he moved my body in certain ways that he could say if something was broken. But I was laying on my spine, so he didn't move my spine. But he said everything is kind of looks like it works, but it hurt like hell. But I was on painkillers as well, so I didn't feel exactly everything. Yeah, and then we didn't know what is it. I was like, maybe it's just a strained muscle and it will be good in a few days. So I waited, but I couldn't walk. I couldn't turn on the side by myself. People came and gave me water. Like Sarah was very smart. She got me her second phone so I could like reach out, and brought me a baby bottle so I could drink and not spill myself because I was just on my back. And yeah, it was intense. I couldn't do anything by myself. And I was in so much pain. Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
Oh my God, I can, like relieve, like when you explain that, when you share that, I can feel, like that you know, when you feel really with someone, it's like I can totally feel it. Wow.
Feel the pain.
What?
Almost feel the pain, right?
Yeah,
That's like,
exactly. Like, wow. And then do you remember like what was going through your mind? Like like what happened like internally for you as all of that happened?
I think I was so much in the shock, but the pain brought me so much in the present moment that I couldn't even use my mind so much that I would like think about the future or
Right.
like, you know, like what's my next steps. I was just like so present and just trying to survive from that like moment.
Right.
But of course, people around me, like Joanna, you know, when she came from Canggu, I think on the second day, she was like, so is someone coming to check you out? And then I had someone coming, like an osteopath, um, to like assess me better or like give me some clues. But he said he can come, that he's out and he can come in 2 days. So I was kind of, okay, so I need to wait 2 days for him to come.
Wow.
And she was not happy about it. She was like, and then she was like, but at least someone's coming, you know. But then it was on the day 2 or 3, I don't remember, it was so painful that even with the help of my friends, I couldn't get up from the bed and go to the toilet. So I needed to go pee so badly that and I was so uncomfortable, like I couldn't just do it in the bed. And then Joanna and Danica, who were by my side, they were like, you know what, we have to get you a diaper. So Joanna went to the Bintag supermarket, got a diaper, came back, and she took the wrong ones. She took like too small. I remember they were doing some Caesar MacGyver things to put the diaper on me, and I really like, there was of course a little bit of this shyness, you know, like your friends are gonna see your intimate parts and put a diaper on you. So it's
Yeah.
very vulnerable state, and I never experienced something like that. And I am so glad it was them, like they were placed there at the, like with their spirits. The needs, I remember making jokes, so I was like, oh my god, you know, I cannot laugh because it hurts so much. But she said like, I'm not a gynecologist, but I can look. I think she said that. So it was a lot of kind of like laughter in that intense pain that you almost feel like you're tripping, you know. So at the end I just closed my eyes and let them do their thing and just surrendered. And they put it on, and then for the first time in my life, or like since I was a baby, of course, I peed in the diaper. I was drinking through a baby bottle. So I was
Right.
like, is this like
Wow.
a rebirth, you know?
Ooh.
And then that day I was just like, I'm in so much pain, please universe, send me someone. I cannot wait for the osteopath to come. And then all of a sudden I receive a message on the phone from, at that time she was still called PV. She is like, I saw her a couple of times before, and she was like, something just told me to check up on you. And then I saw what happens, because I shared a little bit on my Facebook, and then people started to talk. And she was like, I'm having she's a yoga teacher as well, so she's like, I'm offering a class right now, but I could come at 7 p.m. to like offer you some healing hands if you need it. And I was like, ta-da, I just asked the universe for it, and here you are, like direct link. So I was waiting for her to come, like in my diaper on my bed. Couldn't move, it's so much pain. And then she entered the room like this, like she's from she looks like this Native American woman, but I think she's from Philippines originally. Anyway, she enters the room with her powerhouse shamanic energy, and I don't know, I saw her like, oh, she's gonna save me, you know, like, and she knew what she's doing. So she stepped to me, she was like, hey darling, like, how are you doing? And I just looked at her, and I, you know, I didn't even need to say anything. So she started to press into this point, which is the pain point of the body. And like did her things like through her, like she's very connected. So she pressed here and pulled the trauma out of my body, because my body was actually still frozen and in fight or flight. It didn't know that the danger is over. That's why
Right, of course.
it's getting worse and worse. So
Mhm.
she did that for me, and also massaged then this area so I could release the air that was in my belly, because I was eating for already a few days and I didn't go to the toilet, so it was all traumatized and stored in the, I don't know, the womb or in the intestines. So it was very funny, because when she pressed it, I released this air. And it was very long, so this is like the memory as well as that we have. And yeah, then it was, this was the most intense moment of I think the whole journey. But it made a miracle what she did to me that day, because just and then I asked her, what did you do? And she said, I told your cells in your body that it's safe, and you can do that as well, like just send energy and create this safety, because they were still freaking out, like she could feel everything.
Of course, yeah. Wow.
That was the first lesson, talk with your body, talk with yourself, like they hear you, they listen to you.
Wow. Oh, wow, I can imagine it's probably like really like a huge ego death, right? It's like boom, like being completely vulnerable and like just, right, just kind of like being, how do you say that? Like you just have to surrender, right? Like there's no more holding on. Like you just have to like go and trust that something like somehow, yeah, it will get better. But also I was gonna ask you, like, have you like, can you remember, like, were you afraid? Did you have that fear of like what could happen, or like what, what it could be, or?
Yeah, I think like when the moments when, like, for example, when Joanna told me like, so what are you doing right now? Like, you have someone coming, then my mind started to work and I was like, fuck, I really need help. Like, I don't know what's happening with my body, and this is like scary. But I still couldn't even use my rational mind or make plans, or like, it was all happening so intensely and suddenly that I really didn't have this control. I could do many things at that time. I could even, I don't know, buy an insurance and then fake it, and all of this corruption thing. But then something told me, like, I was like, this is not right if I do this. Many people were like, yeah, do it, but I felt like, I don't know, I don't feel it. I cannot lie about this thing.
Yeah. Wow.
And
then did you then actually go once to a doctor, like, or like after
so
that? And what
after she left, I fall asleep for the first time, I think, for a few hours. And when I woke up, I was actually laying in my pee at 2 a.m. in the morning. And because the diaper leaked or something, like it didn't hold. And at that time, my mind already created the story, I cannot move, it was not possible before, and I kind of forgot that I had this sleep now, and that Pee-wee came and helped me. And then, I was kind of not hallucinated, but the pain is so strong, and then the mind and everything. And then I was just like, okay, you cannot stay the night here in your own pee. Like, you need to do something. I couldn't call anyone, everyone was sleeping, of course. And then I was like, okay. I asked the spirits, the angels. I was like, let's do it. Let's get up and go to the toilet by ourselves. And a part of me, I remember, was like, you have this little, like a devil and the angel, and then one part was like, come on, are you serious? Like, you cannot do it. It's like, you saw what happened, and in dangerous, what if you fall? What if you, what, you don't know. And then there was this voice that was like, just do it, we're gonna support you. Wow. And then I actually felt a presence next to me, or I don't know, felt, imagined. I felt that I have someone holding me and lifting me up. And even like I just got up. Like I imagined there's someone, of course I helped myself with the hands and everything, but I got up and walked to the toilet for the first time by myself, dropped the diaper, and even like stepped under the shower and washed myself by myself. And then went to bed, lay down on the other side that was not, covered in pee, and just like relaxed. And I was like, oh my God. And then it came to me, I was like, because pee will release the trauma, so the cells started to, feel safe and could hold this, even though I felt like I was climbing a Mount Everest and I was so exhausted after, I could do it. And just I felt the presence of, so from then I kind of feel that my body started to get back to like at least being able to move for a little bit, even though if it was fucking painful. And then the osteopath came the next day, and he used a tuning fork, like touched all my vertebrae, and he's like, it's like I don't feel anything, it's not broken. I'm gonna do cardiosacrum therapy, osteopathy therapy on you, and you're gonna be fine. You're gonna come to my house tomorrow, and I'm gonna, do another therapy, and all will be fine. And I was like, okay, that feels like very comforting, and like, like I would love it if it will happen, but I don't know why I don't have the feeling that it will. And then he left after the first session. Of course, I felt a little bit better. He sent me energy, but for the next session, I was like, I still cannot go there with you. And then he was like, I will bring a massage table because I need to get you on the table. So I was like, yeah, I will pay for it. Just put it in a taxi and bring it here. So then he came the second time, and he put me on the table. He checked me, and he was like, I don't feel anything broken, And then I was standing, like for those moments that I could stand at the time, in front of the mirror topless, and I check, and like I could see in my spine that one of the vertebrae is like sticking out. And I was like, Michael, come here, like this, can you check this again, while I was standing, And then he saw it, and he was like, okay, I think you should go to the doctor. And then the next day, we went to the hospital. It's like, even the trip to the hospital has another story, and there's so many stories, but I think we can be here all day if I share all of them. But the most important part, we came to the hospital. They did an MRI or the CT scan, I think CT scan, yeah. And the doctor came back, and he said, I have one good news and one bad news. Which one you want to hear first? And I was like, yeah, okay, give me the good news first. And he's like, you don't have any internal bleeding, everything looks normal. It's like, even like, the funny thing is, I didn't even have scratch on my body.
Wow.
I was, on the outside, I looked totally okay, And then I was like, okay, so what's the bad news, And then he showed me the picture of the fracture. And he's like, you have a compressed vertebra T12, and it's dangerous, and you need to consult a neurosurgeon, because my nerve that is connecting the lower part of the body, so the one that's like deciding if you're gonna walk, poop, all these basic things, was caught in between these two vertebrae that were compressed and fractured.
Wow.
So if I would be walking too much or doing anything, this could fracture even more, and it could cut the nerve, and I would be paralyzed. So that's what I found out at that time. But the neurosurgeon was not available at the time, so we had to go back home. And then I at least knew what's happening, I send the scans, like my friends send it around to the best surgeons in America, in Europe, and they all told me, you need to have a surgery. This is unstable fracture. It can like cause you not to be able to walk again. So at that time I got aware of how serious the situation is. But apart, the spiritual part of me and the one that was resisting hospital and everything was still present. So I was like, you know, I want to heal naturally. And I listened to Joe Dispenza's meditation, and I was like, if he can do it, I can do it, you know. So I spent like a month in my bed, not being able to walk more than to the toilet and back, and trying to heal by myself with my mind and with meditations, and by healing of people that were coming into my world. And yeah, it helped a lot, but it didn't change the fact that I needed a surgery. So yeah.
Wow. Wow. And I remember, I think it was actually right the day before I left. I came to visit you. It was right the day before, or like the same day I left was
Yeah,
surgery, right? Or
it
something
was.
like that.
Yes, you came to visit me, and we have a beautiful manifestation story as well. Like when you came to visit me the first time, I kind of want to share that one too. But yeah, you came exactly the last day before my surgery.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I want to share the manifestation story. Like it's gonna be short, but like, you know, when I was in that state of receiving, and yeah, I remember like it was already late in the day, but I really was craving for a special chocolate from Ubudra with goji berries and mint, and I had that in my mind like in, like, I think around noon, and that day I wasn't expecting anyone to come, you know. And I was like, oh, I really want that chocolate, and then I let it go. I was like, okay, you know, it's gonna come when it's gonna come. And then you messaged me and you were like, hey, I think you were like back from Ahmed, I'm in town, can I come see you? And I was like, usually I don't, you know, have visitor after like 6 or 7 or something, but I was like, yeah, you know what, I want to see her. And it was super sweet. And then you show up, and you show up with exactly that chocolate.
I forgot about that.
I was like, oh my God, how did you know? Like, and then you actually told me that you've been kind of like, yeah, it kind of just came into your field and you picked exactly that chocolate, which is like amazing.
Oh, yeah. That's so true, right? But that was before. That was before
that was before the last day, yeah.
Exactly. That is true. I completely forgot about that. Wow. Yeah,
it's my book.
Huh?
It's in my book.
Oh. Wow. And the last day I remember I brought durian. That was the last time I had durian for
Oh wow.
I miss it. No.
Come back.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's so crazy, that story. But I also want to kind of go into like, because now, yeah, like 1.5 years have passed, and how, like, because you said also at the beginning it was like a rebirth, right? How can you like see like what have you like, what are the blessings in the end, right, from that? Like, can you see now already, like, right? Because a lot of times when things happen, right, in the moment we're like, oh, why is this happening? Like, this doesn't make any sense. But the more time goes by, the more it makes sense. So I'm wondering, like, do you already see like the blessings from that, what happened?
Yeah, I think, like, you know, even when I crashed and those guys like took my phone and all of that, I always knew that this didn't happen for no reason. I always knew that it happened for my spiritual growth, for deepening my connection with the spirit, for actually putting me on the right path. Of course, it was hard to, you know, move through it, but I always had that knowing, like, since the start. And every day a miracle happened with every person coming into my room and giving me a teaching or experience or shared something. So I feel like I grew in this time when I was just in my bed, and I experienced more than I would if I would be like roaming around outside. And so actually the world came into my bed, and
Exactly.
I was receiving so many messages, like, and lessons, and it just changed me as a person. And it's hard to say what was the biggest lesson of all, but I think looking back, it would be just trust and surrender. That was the biggest one, with a million of little stories that made so much sense. And like, I felt like a rebirth, because I kind of reconstruct my whole, how do you say, my beliefs and blockages about money as well, for example, because I was like, okay, this surgery is now going to cost me, and then I found a surgeon, Dr. Golden, with a nice name. I was like, someone's gonna operate me, it's gonna be Dr. Golden.
Beautiful.
And yeah, I got the confirmation. So he was a doctor, and I explained my situation. I said, like, this happened, I don't have insurance, I will have to pay it by myself, or I don't know, how. And he evaluated that the cheapest way that we can get through this is 11,000 euros. And of course I didn't have that money, at that time. And like, even if I would, it would be so hard to, you just,
Yeah,
it's a lot of money.
it's a lot of money.
And I came from, like, we never had money in our family, like, since I was growing up. So there was this belief, money doesn't grow on trees,
Right.
you have to earn it, and all of these things that most of us kind of have. So that kind of was also a reason why I was postponing with the surgery, beside the fact that I wanted, like, not to do it. And then Danica said, well, let's just do a GoFundMe. She's my friend, my flatmate at the time. And she's like, let's just do it. Like, people do it all the time, and like, they are gathering money for some projects, but it's like your life. It's like, are you gonna walk again or not? Like, people will step together, they will support you. And I never like got that idea in my head until she said it with so much confidence. And like, she's like, it's done, you just say it, we're gonna make it, and it's done. And like, her energy was so strong that I was like, okay, let's do it. And then in a few days we like gathered a group to try to organize the GoFundMe. But from Indonesia you actually cannot, it doesn't work. So at the end, my sister that is living in Australia and also was living at the time, she could make it from there. And I was like, I always want to have control over things and like write my own story. So I did write a little bit, and then she added stuff. And I was like, I'm so tired, I cannot do it, please do it for me. And she was just like, yeah, just rest, I will make it happen, it can't be so complicated. So she made it, and she posted it, and I reposted it over in the evening. And then I went to bed, and then I woke up in the morning, and I don't know how much money was already on that GoFundMe, but it was a lot. And I was just receiving messages from people from my childhood, from my travels, from like people that I didn't even know. Like, they were all sending me money and prayers and beautiful like messages that really touched my heart. And I could feel all the love coming into my field. And I was just like, wow, this is like everything. And it didn't even matter how much money they sent. It was just the feeling of receiving that support and being held and loved that made me feel safe and allowed me to like go into this process. Yeah, it was amazing. And people that I didn't talk for years, and strangers messaged me, and at the end, actually, the story, I didn't want that to happen, but my story came to the newspaper in Slovenia.
Oh, really? I didn't know about that.
Yeah, they were even like reaching out to me, trying to have interview, but I was not in a state where I could do it. I was so like my energy was limited at the time, and they reached out to my sister, and she told me, and I was like, I don't want to be, like, if my story comes out from the circles of my, community, kind of like, I knew there might be some people who are going to judge me because, you're irresponsible, like you didn't have insurance, now deal with it,
Right.
And I was afraid of that judgment, you want to be loved, and I'm very sensitive to energy, so I didn't kind of want to expose myself to that. But then they started to, even like the reporters find out about the story, because someone was resharing the GoFundMe, and they called my grandfather that still has like a number in the, these old books. And luckily my mom told him a day before, because we were hiding it from him, just because I was afraid how he would react, like how worried he would be, and he's old, like, and I didn't wanna cause him stress. But then mom was like, now it's out, people know, and he's gonna find out, so I will tell him. So she told him a day before the newspaper called him.
Oh my God, but it sounds like, why would they call you grandpa? It's like, oh, just hello.
I know it's not okay. It's not okay, but it happened. So he gave the phone to my mom, and my family. My dad had COVID at the time, like he was barely surviving. My mom was super stressed. She's like, "What are we doing wrong in our life that this is happening?" And then I was the one who was like telling her, "No, it's all happening for a reason. This is gonna be okay. Just." I was the one who was cheering her up in the time when I was actually needing a lot of support from her as well. But that's something that I moved through. And then she opened up as well later and said, like, it's not that I'm not here to help you. I was just like not able to, like, it was too much for me, and I could just have compassion and understand, and not giving her a hard time about it. But then she kind of like got support from my cousin. She came into the world, so they lifted each other up, and this is just another proof how much it means, the community and support, that you get like some direction. And so I'm super grateful for my cousin Taya that also did that, and all my friends that were helping out at the time. It was very magical. And then the money came very soon, I think. I don't know how long it took. And also my friend Violeta at the time, she was like, you know what, the doctor said it's urgent, we cannot wait anymore, I'm gonna send them the money, and then when the money comes to the GoFundMe, you're gonna pay me back. So she kind of was like, she's like, I have it, why not? And I was so grateful. So she sent the money, and in a few days I went to the hospital, and we did it. And in that time also the funds came, so we did cover the whole cost of the first surgery.
Oh, amazing. Wow. And it's just, I just got very emotional actually when you shared before, right? About exactly that community, that first, like, just that, that you couldn't go to Ubud, but Ubud came to you. Right? Like,
magical Ubud double.
Yeah, like knowing there's so much support, and also then when you said like all these people that started to reach out to you, like even strangers, people you haven't spoken in such a long time, and it's like, when that, I think it's kind of like, sad in a way, but that's how it is. Like, things need to happen before people actually remember, right? It's like we're so disconnected, and as soon as something happens, like, oh wow, it brings us right back, right? And so it is sad to see that something needs to happen for that to happen, but it's like, wow, it's so powerful. And like
Yeah,
knowing actually like how supported we are, we're always supported. And even though it seems like we're alone, there's no one there, it's not true, right?
but there is
Yeah.
one thing, we need to ask for it. We
Of
need to
course, right, yeah.
ask, like, at least a little step into that direction,
Yeah,
so that the
yeah.
universe and that it hears you, that that you're ready to receive the help. Because if I
Exactly.
wouldn't say yes to this, if this wouldn't happen, no one would know.
Exactly, that is true. And also like having the courage to ask for help, right? And to receive, because I think that's also like a really big theme, like, because we're so conditioned to thinking like, oh, I cannot ask for help, that it means I'm weak. And then also when help comes, to actually receive it, right? Like we're so easy to dismiss that. So yeah, like that's
Um,
huge.
yeah, and I guess one part of it is that I really didn't have any other choice than to do it.
Exactly.
But the second part is, every time someone brought me water, a glass of water, I said thank you, and I felt the gratitude. Every time anyone brought me anything or sent me anything, I was so much grateful that it raised that vibration. And I feel that this is what created the momentum of people wanting to give me more and more and more. And it also opened my left side of receiving, because it was definitely blocked and not feeling deserving. And so, this journey, like, it happened so I could open also that part of myself.
Wow, I get chills when you say that. And yeah, it's true, because in the end, gratitude is the frequency of abundance.
Mm. Yeah, it was magical, the things that were happening, really. Wow.
Oh wow, I can imagine. Wow.
And I'm just now checking, you see here, it's my altar behind me.
With all the cards that you receive.
All the cards, all the everything. I have yours here, your elephant.
Oh my
Marvel.
God.
You see, remember this one?
Wow. Oh, it's so sweet. That's so beautiful.
So I'm keeping, this is my altar. My altar is made from the people that came into my life, and yeah, super grateful. And every time I see this, I come back into that remembrance of what what happened and what it brought me, and the lessons.
Wow. And also, I guess, like, right, that remembrance of like, you just from one day of another, things can happen, right? Like nothing is like, there is no safety in that sense. We like, you just never know. And so really not taking life for granted.
Definitely, that was also a very big lesson. And even now, when now I'm after the second surgery, when they took out the titanium that I had in my spine. So in operation, they insert 10 titanium screws and 2 plates to separate the vertebrae and create space for the nerve. And then after 15 months now, I took it out. So it happened on the 22nd of February at 12, like I had all the tools in.
Wow.
And super supported. It was I wouldn't say that it was less painful, because they cut open again your spine, they cut all the muscles, so the recovery, it's kind of the same, except that now the bone doesn't need to heal, so that part is easier. But I'm still like, in the process. Actually, this was in my spine.
My God, it's crazy. You can actually make a furniture out of that.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, should I like build a closet now or something?
Exactly, like with the screws that held you together. Wow, that is so crazy.
I'm like, seriously, this, and if I wouldn't do the surgery now, it would stay inside of my spine until the rest of my life. And people say, yeah, it's safe to have the titanium, kind of the safest metal, but I was super sick this last 15 months. Like my immune system was down. I felt my kidneys was overworked, so I was like, it's now or never, and the doctor said that I can only also do it here because it's like he has special keys. And so I was like, okay, the universe tell me, like, I was, of course, I was afraid again, like I'm still a human. I didn't want to die like the first time. And then I was like, also my passport expired and I didn't know if I will be able to stay here and do the surgery because I need recovery as well. So then everyone was like, you cannot get a passport because we don't have embassy in Indonesia at all. So the closest embassy is, it's in Australia.
Oh my God.
So they were saying, sorry, there's no way that you can get a passport. And then I told them I have an important surgery to do. And if like I need to do it now because otherwise it can be too late and the surgery can be more risky. And then they agreed to send me an emergency 1-year passport, which I just received.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so when that happened, when they gave me confirmation, I was like, okay, that's a sign that I can stay here and do the process. Right. If it would be complicated, if it wouldn't flow, then I would be like, okay, maybe something bad can happen in the surgery. So I wouldn't. So it was stressful, but at the end I was just like, okay, I'm gonna surrender again. That's my biggest lesson. What else to do? And and it happened as it had to. So
wow. So crazy, so many things. And also, like, of course it's beautiful to have all the community there, right? But still, like, being, you're in a foreign country, in a foreign continent, far away from your family, and it's still, like, yeah.
But yeah, I kind of decided, like I could go home and kind of do the surgery there, but I was like, I want the same surgeon that put it in, take it out. Like I don't trust anyone else. And even if I had to pay now again, like I had to pay 7,000 euros, it was less than the first time. And people were like, yeah, just do another GoFundMe. But it's like, no, it's okay. I'm gonna do it myself. And I was like, and after this I'm done with my money karma, and it's just the flow. I give it, it will come back. And I know this is how it works. And I invested in my body. Like, what else is there more important than your health? Because if I cannot walk, I cannot enjoy anything, so so luckily I could work a little bit in between. I went back to my photo shootings, got even more aligned, more connected, made even more amazing images because I dropped all my beliefs and I allowed everyone to be as they are. And I'm proud of myself.
Wow. Yeah, I'm so proud of you too. I mean, because, like having like kind of like, it felt like, like really being there with you, like from the beginning until now, like seeing every like progress, like, and then the surgery and then this and then that, like really seeing you in that. It's just wow, like how you always did that with always so much grace and like so much gratitude and so much trust. It really is super inspiring. And because I feel like not everyone has that deep trust. And yeah, it was just so beautiful to observe that. And also, yeah, like talking about the photography, like it's just, your photography, like it really speaks stories. Like you can see the person who is being photographed. It's like you just know how to capture the essence and the soul of the people. So that's so beautiful.
And thank you for seeing that. And yeah, it's also like when I take photos, I never prepare. I never prepare. I just set the intention, and I I just I just am, and then something leads me and it happens, and always something beautiful happens. Like, yeah. Um yeah. It's quite a journey, and it's not finished yet. Like, now I'm on the second recovery, discovering new ways to heal myself, to connect myself more with the body and everything. So yeah, like, I'm learning every day. I feel this subud really gave me like it's like, yeah, I used to say that we are like in Hogwarts, being schooled to go out in the world, and it's been pretty hardcore school.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and it really gives you what you need. It's like, yeah.
And the support, of course, amazing. Like, people here all, in like good people, good hearts, all trying to help, being there for one another.
Yeah.
And also I had to then at some point, like, also deal with that, not to take too much in, and set my boundaries. So that was a
Yeah.
big challenge as well. And yeah, so many lessons. I felt like everything just dropped in me, and I'm still learning, and yeah, amazing.
Wow. Yeah, it's so amazing to hear that. Like, and like, because we're coming actually to the end. We've been talking for an hour already, and I would love to keep on talking because there's so much more that I kind of want to talk
I
to
know.
you.
I was like,
Also, right. Also because I feel like, it's been so long since we've actually seen each other, and it's so beautiful to connect with you again. Like, and I hope and I know we're gonna see each other again one day,
definitely.
wherever that will be. But yeah, so before coming to the end, I wanted to still ask, like, is there anything else that you feel like you want to share? Anything you might want to like share with the listeners about what you've learned, maybe, or just any wisdom, any guidance that you wanna share?
Oh my God. Yeah, I thought about it a lot. This is something that many people ask me, and I'm telling them, like, yeah, there's a wisdom that came every day. That's why I had to write this book down, and I can't wait that it comes out and I can actually just, hello, here you are, read it. But if I would have to, like, choose one thing, yeah, just know that whatever happens, the universe always has your back when you ask for it, like, to trust the process, even if it's like fucking painful and it looks like your world is crashing down. Just know that there is a bigger picture behind it. Like, there is something good waiting for you on the other side. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's so beautiful. Yeah. And actually, I just something just came. I saw this very beautiful quote the other day. And well, actually, already, like, my philosophy teacher back in when I did my yoga teacher training, he always said, like, we have to imagine the universe like this big mother, like this caring, nourishing mother. And she always just gives us what we can handle.
Yes.
And even though it might be, difficult, but it's still there to actually move us forward. And so just the other day, I saw this quote, and I just felt like sharing this because I feel like it really just also really aligns with what you just said, and also like your whole story, or like with for everyone, right, that is going through challenging times and difficult times, like always remembering that we are guided. And so it goes like this. It's from Laura Matsu, and it goes like that: the divine will never give you more than you can handle, but what your ego thinks it can handle is different to what your soul knows you can handle. Every difficult experience is an opportunity to grow your soul, To grow your soul is to open more deeply to the direct experience of the divine. Your heart is a portal to the infinite, but the walls around it must be cracked open for the light to pour in.
Mm.
If you allow every difficult experience to crack your heart open, it becomes an opportunity to come closer to your true nature, a divine child of God. It becomes, yeah. All of your challenges were designed exactly for you. They are exactly what was needed to make you realize the love that you are. Wow.
This is such a beautiful capture of everything that I'm feeling, you know?
Yeah, it's, yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it just came to me now that I want to share that with you because exactly like it's what you just, yeah, described also. It's
powerful.
super powerful. Yeah, exactly. And it's just that like our ego doesn't know what our soul can actually handle. And
Exactly.
yeah. Oh man, wow. I would love to, yeah, keep on talking and hear more about that. But you have your beautiful book. So do you already know when it's going to come out? And is it in English actually?
It's in English.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I kind of finished it, but now I need an editor because you know when you have your baby, it's hard to cut some things out or like make it more readable. Like, you know, I went into this book with my open heart, with like such vulnerability. I'm not hiding any secrets or keeping anything back. There were stories, there was love story, there was so much happening. So it's kind of interesting, but I want also like I want someone to give me a good feedback. So it's in the process of coming out. Actually, one friend just finished reading it, the only person who has it, and she's gonna make me a book cover. So that's why I actually gave it to her, because she can then channel the front page, and she's actually gonna come in a couple of days and give me some feedback. And yeah, and then I'm just opening my arms to someone who will see my story valuable and worth sharing, and yeah, maybe help me and like manifest the heart opened editor. And I don't know how it will evolve, but I trust and I know it will happen.
Totally. Wow. Yeah, I'm excited for it to come out. I cannot wait to read it. And yeah, and also like if you want to share maybe your social media, I'm gonna put it anyways then in the description. So for anyone who is interested in like listening to your story and then wanting to read the book once it comes out and just admiring your beautiful art, your photography.
Thank you. Yeah, sure, I can share my Instagram. So one is Heart Expansion Photography, where I also share my Bali life and the stories usually. But I recently created a new profile that is just Heart Expansion, where I share my photos, like of myself and what's happening a little bit here and there when I get the inspiration. But everything is linked and connected, so you will find everything. And yeah, if you're interested, I'm happy to share. And yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm going to put it in the description. Also, if you are in Bali and you're looking for a photographer, she's your woman.
Woman.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here, for sharing your story. And it was so good catching up with you, seeing you. And yeah. Thank you so much, Pila.
Thank you for so beautifully connecting everything, and like it really like felt so natural and beautiful to talk with you, have this talk, and actually remind myself as well that, you know, it's a story that it is worth sharing, and I shouldn't give up on that. And yeah, thank you for your invitation, your beautiful open heart, for your presence in my life. You're amazing, beautiful soul sister, and I cannot wait to, like, now I'm gonna send you an energetic hug, but like one day I'm gonna squeeze you in person soon. And yeah, I know it will happen. So
Yeah.
thank you for all your work that you're doing as well with the women and circles and your deep shamanic soul. Like, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, I just get emotional. Thank you. And also thank you to everyone listening to this podcast. Yeah, we'll talk to you in another episode. Bye-bye.